With deep rivers, tidal creeks, and barrier islands, the Beaufort district became a naval battleground during the American Revolution. South Carolina launched more warships than any colony except Massachusetts. Local captains like John Joyner and John Stoney turned coastal waters into a battlefield. They harassed British supply lines from Charleston to Florida. In summer 1775, Patriot leaders learned a British shipment of treaty goods and gunpowder was bound for Savannah, intended for Britain's Creek allies. Colonel Stephen Bull sent 2 Beaufort barges to Bloody Point to watch the Savannah River's entrance. John Bull and John Joyner commanded the barges. Joseph Habersham of Georgia quickly armed the schooner Liberty with carriage guns and swivels. On July 8th, the British schooner Philippa anchored off Tybee Point, waiting for a pilot. The next day, Liberty closed in. At 4 o'clock, musket shots cracked across the water as Captain Oliver Bowen of the Liberty raised a white flag bordered in red, with the word Liberty boldly marked in the center. The stunned British ships were escorted to Cockspur Island, surrounded by Patriot militia, and stripped of their cargo, 16,000 pounds of valuable gunpowder. 4,000 pounds from that cargo were rushed north to the Continental Congress, and ultimately to Washington's army outside Boston. Only weeks later, Beaufort's waters proved decisive again. Captain Clement Lempriere, sailing the armed sloop Commerce, manned with Beaufort men, headed to Florida to intercept another powder shipment. On August 8th, he captured the brigantine Betsy off the St. Augustine bar. Aboard were 12,000 pounds of gunpowder headed for Loyalists and British allies. Escorted safely into Port Royal, the cargo was secured by the local militia. Most of the powder was sent to Charleston, multiplying the colony's supply nearly tenfold, and denying Britain a critical advantage in the Southern War. The following spring, Royal Navy warships pushed up the Savannah River. Their aim: seize ships carrying rice supplies desperately needed by Crown forces in the north. Under the cover of darkness, British forces captured the rice ships opposite Savannah. But before they could escape, Patriot artillery opened fire. For 4 hours, cannon thundered across the river. Rather than surrender the rice, Patriot volunteers set some ships ablaze. As the British sailors and soldiers fled into the nearby marshes, American rifle fire cut them down. Ships burned, others were retaken, and the British withdrew empty-handed. Though small in scale, the battle ended the Crown's control of Georgia for the next several years, and proved that determined militia and sailors could defeat the Royal Navy in southern waters. These were not isolated incidents. More than 15 naval engagements followed, and Beaufort district privateers plundered over 50 British vessels. Together, these naval engagements show how the war for independence was won not only on South Carolina's battlefields, but also in the coastal waters of the Beaufort district.